Good evening. Good evening to all you future millionaires out there listening. We want to welcome today the electrifying Sam Knickerbocker. We want to sit down, have a seat, whatever you're doing, working out, turn your volume up. What we want to do today is leverage his specialized, proven strategies to elevate your life and secure an enduring legacy. Let Sam spark your transformative journey across faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. Brace yourself for an irresistible dive into holistic prosperity and wellness. His passion is to empower high-achieving men and women with the financial foundation essential to maximize fulfillment in your life and create your legacy. He is the host of the Fuel Your Legacy podcast, where he teaches the foundational habits, mindsets, and behaviors essential to create a legacy that lasts. Sam Knickerbocker, welcome to the Millionaire by Morning podcast.
Hey, thank you for having me here. I'm excited. This is awesome.
Hey, man, you are the perfect guest for this podcast. And is based on your entire, I checked out your website, Instagram, everything that you offer, and it's awesome, if I do say so myself. You help people to build a legacy.
Yep.
First and foremost, I would like to go back a little bit to speak about where was that instilled in you that you needed to build your own legacy and then build it for others?
That's a great question. So I think it was instilled a little bit in my father, as far as my father's family. I'm the seventh of 11 kids, and my dad was adopted by my grandpa. My grandpa was basically orphaned, although not actually orphaned. His dad just kind of deserted him and his family, and they ended up in foster care after his mom passed away. And so for multiple generations, we are kind of just grafted into a new family every generation. And what I think is really positive and important about a legacy is it doesn't have to mean money, although money can be a part of it. But I think more of what I feel as a legacy is living the way you want to live, living the way you want to be remembered. And I think too often people overemphasize the money, thinking that if they get the money, they'll be happy. And so they put off living intentionally as far as the way they want to be, and the way they want to be remembered, the way they want to be perceived. And they say, well, I'll get to that later. I'm going to go do this. And they position themselves on money over lifestyle or over family or over the things that really matter. The number of millionaires like this, I got to find actual research on this. This would be a fascinating question. I just know for myself, most of my friends who are multi-million, deca, centimillionaires, I can count on one hand, the number of them that have not been divorced. And so for me, a big part for me, that doesn't, by the way, I'm not throwing shade if you do get divorced. That's not what I'm doing. But for me, it's really important that my legacy encompasses my faith, my family, my fitness, my finance, and having fun. And my family and my fitness, those all come before the financial aspect of my legacy. And God comes before the financial aspect of my legacy. I also believe that God wants me to be really, really successful, right? When I read the Bible and when I read Holy Scripture of any religion, the promises of God are that we have everything that he has, which like he wants us to be prosperous. He wants us to win. He doesn't want us to be broke and in the gutter. He wants his people to be successful people who are actually helping, leading other people to take part in all that he's created. So I think that there's actually a mandate to be financially successful. And that being said, it can't be over him or over your family. And so for me, I think relationships a big part of a legacy. And my family, seventh of 11, my parents, there was a lot of crap that happened when we were growing up. But honestly, we've got all of us kids, we're all pretty successful. and my parents are still married. They love each other. We all love each other. And I think that's one of the best legacies that could be passed down is the value system, um, even over the other things that could have been passed down. I think the value system is what's most important to me.
I can agree with you 100% on that. Far as getting lost in what my grandparents used to call the worldly ways. Um, so have you taken those, I guess let's call them pillars. Have you taken those pillars and built maybe a coaching program, or is this what you teach?
Yeah, this is what I teach. So when I sit down with, first, let's actually go into, so I have the Fuel Your Legacy show, the podcast where I invite successful individuals. When I say successful, oftentimes people think of money when you say successful, but they could be a successful mom. They could be a successful teacher and never be financially well off, but have succeeded at what their life's mission was and what their goal and focus was. I take those people and invite them on the show to ask questions. But I did write a book, which you can get on my website or you can go and get it on Amazon, called Fuel Your Legacies, the 9 Pillars to Build a Meaningful Legacy. And I think overarching all of these is love. And so for me, the 5 pillars, faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun, all of those for me operate the most through love. I think of it like a Greek building where you have the foundation is the faith, and then you have family, fitness, and kind of goes up. But then each of those pillars are also faith, family, fitness, finance, and fun. So everything is compounding on itself. It's all building on itself. And the ultimate definition of legacy for me is, how do you want to be remembered? Right? Are you intentional about how you want to be remembered, and are you living that way? So I do have I want to call it coaching program because nobody pays me for coaching. I work in the financial education space, and I have at times been a coach and charged just for coaching, but I prefer to be paid on the back end. So a lot of times people will say, pay me $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, whatever it is, and I'll coach you through something. And I did that for a little bit, but it didn't sit right in my soul. I don't feel like that's the way God wanted me to make money. And so I would rather prove to you that what I teach you is going to improve your life, and then on the back end take a percentage of what we were able to change in your life, rather than being paid up front. So if I can help you, I get paid. If I can't help you, then why pay me? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Okay, Sam. So with you saying that, let's say that I'm a guy, maybe I don't have it all together, or maybe I'm starting a new business, and I come to you. What does that look like as far as you assisting me, helping me, showing me?
Sure. So I think of it as like a GPS, and I say GPS, but we'll use the GPS analogy. I break it down because the reality is GPS stands for Global Positioning System. The GPS is one element to the process. In England, they call it a sat nav, a satellite navigation system, which is more accurate, but still not super accurate. So basically, we have to find out, where do we want to go first? So it's a 3-part process. Identify where you want to go. So visions and dreams. The one thing that I would tell myself, if I could go back 5 years, 10 years, the one thing I would tell myself is, dream as big as you can dream. And then go find somebody who thinks that your dream is a small dream. Not because they think you are small, but the opposite, because they see so much more potential in you can accomplish over your lifetime, that they think that life dream that you have is a good 1, 2, 3-year dream, not a lifelong dream. So dream as big as you can, and then go find somebody who thinks it's small. So that's what I help people with originally. Is we come in, you're going to start a business, whatever it is. Hey, how much do you think you can make? A lot of times I'll have clients come in and say, I just don't know if I could ever be a million. I don't know if I can make $1 million. And we just break it down. Well, what do you need? What's your offer? How many do you need to sell? Where are you going to get them? How many people do you got to talk to sell that many? Let's go to war with this. Like, it's not as hard as you think to make $1 million. It's not as hard as you think to do what you need to do. So how do we help you do that? So the first thing is dream, dream, dream. So cast a vision, dream. So that's in the GPS, that's like you punching in the address of where you want to go. So that's the first step, finding where you want to go. The second step, the GPS then says, well, where are you right now? Right? So we have to identify where we want to go, and then we have to identify where you are right now. So that takes on the area of two different areas. Where are you financially right now? And where are you time-wise right now? Okay, because when we talk about the dream life, I literally was just talking to my wife about this yesterday. We were watching a show, and they were talking about, what does your perfect day look like? And so I asked my wife, I was like, well, what does your perfect day look like? And she's like, man, just going to a theme park with my family and all day. And I don't know about you, but I've been to theme parks and I enjoy them, but not all day with kids. No, I actually don't enjoy that. So like, that's not my dream day. Right. It's like my dream day includes a killer morning prayer. It includes an ice bath. It includes 2 or 3 hours of working on my craft of my business and like being super productive, helping some clients receive some transformation, and then going and spending time with the family for 4 or 5 days, get a massive deposit in my bank account that day, going out to dinner with my family, playing board games, so that like it involves everything that I do. And she's like, well, I think my perfect day is this. I'm like, okay, but how many of those can you have in your life? How many of those are you having right now? You can't go to the theme park every day for forever. And so if you make your perfect day this thing that only happens occasionally, then you're going to be miserable the rest of the days. But if you design your perfect day as what's something that you can actually do every day, how cool is that? That you get to design and live out your perfect day, day after day after day after day. Like that's happiness and fulfillment. So we have to first identify where we want to go, then identify where we are. And the two things that we usually lack or believe that we lack are either time or money. And so that's what I help people track in detail, down to like the last penny for the last year. How much did you spend on restaurants? How much did you spend on eating out? How much did you spend on toiletries? How much did you spend on every little thing? We break it down super niche. Where did you spend your money? Now, the cool thing is I work with adults, people 18 years or older. And the cool thing about adults is they're able to think and make their own decisions. So my job is not to tell anybody what to do with their time or their money or anything. My job is to assist them in becoming aware of your current situation. Be a mirror to where you currently are at. And once you hold up that mirror, there's no more lying, just like in the bathroom. You can't be like, I actually have a 6-pack. No, you don't, dude. If you don't have a 6-pack, you don't have a 6-pack. And that's nothing wrong with it, but don't tell yourself you have a 6-pack if you don't have a 6-pack. Right. So the mirror is the key there, finding out where you are. And then we chart the most efficient course to get there. Now that there's a big difference between efficient and shortest path there, because efficiency takes into account the obstacles along the way. And sometimes what might feel like the longer way around is actually the shortcut. And so that's a 3-part process. If you come in, you sit down with me, first, we're going to dream. We're going to spend pretty much a whole hour, maybe 2 hours, just sitting and dreaming. What's possible if? Let's draw it out. Where could we go with this? How much money? What's money going to look like in the future? What's time going to look like in the future? What's the best day look like? So we go through that process. And then the next time we meet, and in between there's homework generally, we're going to get nailed down exactly where your money's at. And sometimes that process can take 3 or 4 meetings just to help somebody really get clear about where their time is at and where their money's at. I had a client, she's in, I think, Minnesota. She's like, Sam, I really want to be a really good copywriter. This is what I want to do. And I was like, okay, well, how many hours a day are you working on being copywriter? She's like, well, I've got this part-time job that I work about 10 hours a week. And I was like, okay, so what do you do the rest of the time? Well, I think about being a good copywriter. I was like, okay, well, it's going to be really tough to get there, because while you're thinking about that, I'm working a 12-hour day. Yeah. Like, well, what if I need I don't want to go get a full-time job because then I won't have time to build my business. Like, even if you had a full-time job, what's that? 8 hours a day. Mm-hmm. I'm still working 4 hours longer than that. Yeah. So why can't you work 2 hours every day and just copy the best copywriters. That's the way you get good at copy, is you copy the best copywriters, and then you start to learn the system. And then how many phone calls are you making? Well, I'm just waiting until people call me. You'll never make money doing that. I don't care what industry you're in. You're never making money waiting for somebody to call you. It just doesn't happen that way. So it's like, at least I should say, in my experience, I haven't experienced that. Everybody I know who is at the level where people are just calling them for their business, they built a massive presence and organization to the point where people now call them. But it didn't just like, I woke up one morning, decided to wait for people to call me, and people started calling them. You can get to that point in business, but it's generally not day one.
Yeah.
So that, I mean, that's a time thing where we help to reanalyze their time. I have other clients who it's their money. They understand the time and managing it well, but they're wasting $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month on things that they aren't getting value from. They aren't feeling, it's not filling their cup. And they think they're living paycheck to paycheck. They got a second job so they could drink $400 worth of alcohol a month, or so they could spend $1,600 a month on fast food. And it's like, you wonder why it's this negative cycle, right? You drink because you don't have any time and you're depressed, and you don't have any time because you drink.
Yep. They go
You
hand
could
in
cut
hand.
both out and be happier.
Yeah. And have more money.
And more money and more time, So anyways, those are some of the things that I really focus on with people. Is I don't know where I'm going to meet somebody as far as like where in their journey I'm meeting somebody, but I take everybody through those 3 steps: dreaming, casting a vision, isolating where you're at and triangulating your current position, and then charting the best, most efficient path towards the destination.
That is awesome, man. That is awesome information. I can see where that will work. Here's my question to you. Who will it work on? Do you have a target market, an avatar? And the second part of that question is, do you have people that you refuse to work with because of that?
That's a great question. So as a result of me running my business without any upfront money being exchanged, the way I introduce kind of working with me is most people have worked with coaches or mentors and they've asked for tens of thousands of dollars up front, maybe just a few $1,000s up front. And people are more flippant with their money than they are their reputation. Okay. So rather than charging your money, I want your money to work for you. I want your time to work for you. Rather than charging you money, what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge you reputation. Now you're probably thinking, what does that mean? How do you charge me reputation? That doesn't make sense. Well, if I'm going to put my reputation on the line to assist you, then I expect you would be willing to put your reputation on the line for me. I get my joy and my fulfillment. The thing that juices me up and gets me excited every day is helping people and watching the penny drop. Okay. Watching the penny drop when they go from I'm not worth it to I'm an infinite creator. That realization is the coolest realization ever. And that feeds my soul enough. Okay. I get paid, and I explain how I get paid. But the point is, I want to help more people have a penny drop. So if you went to a really, really good restaurant, best restaurant you've ever been to, maybe best movie you've ever seen, how many people would you naturally want to tell about it?
Oh, man. Everybody that I came in contact with.
Okay. So here's the thing, that sounds good and platitudinous, but then there's a reality. Are you really going to, every time you see somebody, going to tell them about it? So how many people would you really actually tell about this movie?
So with social media, I would make a post.
Okay.
Let's say that. So I tell my network.
Okay. So you tell your network. So what I am looking for, because I don't know if you have children. I have he's almost 7. So 6-year-old, 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old little girl. And there's nothing like trying to work with a stubborn 2-year-old. You can bend over backwards. You can do everything right. You can do exactly what they ask you to do, and they're still unhappy. Right? Would you agree? You have somebody in your mind, that's just like that? Okay. Yeah. So I don't want to work with anybody like that. So as long as you can agree not to be an annoying 2-year-old, then I'm happy to work with you. But I reserve the right to fire any clients that don't that start to be more like a 2-year-old than somebody who's really excited about what I did. Yeah. And so my way of determining if you're happy enough to be a client of mine is if after I help you, If you receive benefit from it, I expect that you'd be willing to do a 3-way text message introduction to 5 to 10 people who could also benefit from what I just changed your life doing. Is that fair?
Awesome.
And that's literally, that's what I say on the phone. Anytime you call me, if you want to engage with me in services, that's what I would ask for. Because so when you're asking, do I have people I won't work with? If you don't see value in making personal introductions, and you don't think that, oh, I would never do that, even if I really like something, I would never personally introduce somebody, then I have no interest helping you. That's not necessarily true. Like, obviously I want to help you, but if you don't think that your life, like if you get $1 million as a result of working with me and you think, no, I'm going to keep that to myself, I'm not going to go share that with the next person, I don't think you're somebody I want to help make $1 million. Like, it sounds harsh, but that's pretty much the sum of it. As far as clientele or client avatar, I have clients who are multimillionaires, and I have clients who are trying to get out of debt, and I've never made a penny working with them. I've been working with them for 3 years now, and over the last 3 years, they've paid off $60,000 worth of debt, and it continues to pay off more and more and more every year. And maybe one day I'll make money. But what's cool about that client or those clients is, because they see the value that I'm offering them, they're some of the best referring clients I have.
Yeah.
And their referrals I've made lots of money on. So it's like, that's the thing. I'm not focused on the money. The money comes, but if I keep helping people and do the right thing for the right reasons, because it feeds my soul, then my family's going to be taken care of.
Crazy.
And I just want you to do the same thing.
That's crazy. That's crazy, Sam. Listen, man, this is the first business strategy. I talked to a lot of coaches, consultants, and this is the first business strategy that has been structured in this way. However, like, I see where that works. I definitely see where it works, because any marketer will tell you that word of mouth is the #1 form of marketing. And it seems as if you've solidified that.
I just require
that's your business plan.
That's my business plan. And the thing is, you go talk to the, again, I speak on stages with coaches. I'm aligned with lots of different coaches. Attrition is a really big deal in the coaching industry. Like when I say it's a big deal, a lot of the coaches, they're dealing with somewhere between 50 to 70. 70 is like a really good attrition rate, but like they're going to be losing 30 to 50% of every client that they sign up. They're going to have to fight with credit cards. So they have to have all these long contracts to make sure that they can keep their money. And even if the person doesn't perform and do what they said, that they still fulfill, like all that crap. It's really hard to build a positive brand and a positive reputation if 50% of the people that work with you end up not receiving the deliverable. And the problem is, it's not that the provider has bad information. Grant Cardone doesn't have bad information. Dave Ramsey doesn't have bad information. These people, it's not like they have bad information. It's that I, as a coach, cannot guarantee that you're going to do what you need to do to receive it.
Yeah.
I can't force you to be successful. I can give you the strategy. I can give you the scripts. I can give you the work schedule. I can give you everything. But if you choose not to do it, I can't help you. Now, the question is, and this is everybody's choice to believe whatever the hell they want. Excuse the language. Sorry, I don't know if I can even say that here, but
you're good.
Okay. But like, I can't control somebody else, but what I can control is that for me and my soul, I don't feel right about being compensated for something that didn't end up helping somebody. And what's worse, you put somebody in debt. Like, let's say they fund it with credit cards. You put somebody in debt and they don't do the work. So now they're in debt and they still don't know how to get all their debt paid off. And you're like, oh, well, this is going to be a life lesson. So you never because if you give them their money back, you're just telling them that they can try and fail and it's okay. And that they can keep trying and failing. I get that you can't do that, because that doesn't work either. You know, I understand the psychological reason people don't give returns, and I'm on their side. My side is, I'd rather just take a piece of the profits and we both work together and win together than you pay me up front for potential profits in the future. How about we just build something together? We work together, and at the end, you'll see what I'm worth, and then I'll get compensated based on that.
I like that business plan. I like that business plan based on the fact that that business plan exists. It does exist, but 9 times out of 10, it's called equity, and someone wants your money or part of your business. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, on the back end, they want to, they'll do it free on the front end, but they want part of your business on the back end. So, what do you call it? You have a specific name that you call it. Is it
I just call
reputation?
it reputation. Like, because I want my goal is introductions. My goal is to help more people. There's a natural byproduct of if we get into certain conversations and there's things that you want from me, there's certain prices for those things that I don't set. Right? If you wanted to, let's say you want to go build a website. There's like a cost to building a website and operating a website. I don't set the price. Like, whoever owns the servers sets the price. There's certain costs for stuff that just like it actually costs that. So if you are marketing a product that actually has a cost, then that's fine. And when I say a cost, this is funny as well, because I don't know if you know the story of the dentist who had a patient came into the dentist and to get his tooth pulled, and the dentist said, "Sit down. Yeah, we're gonna do this." And he said, "Wait. Before you pull my tooth, how much is it gonna cost?" And so the dentist's like, "Yeah, it's gonna cost about probably $500 to do this." Now, he was talking to an employee who trades his time for money, and time for money, $500. That's a week of his work. So $500, man, I don't know. Or so he's reaching. So he's like, I don't know. That seems unfair. How long is it going to take you? And then the dentist. What do you think the dentist says at that point?
The dentist said probably 2 minutes.
No, he says, well, how long do you want it to take you? I can take a week, or I can take a minute. How long do you want me to be yanking on your tooth? He said, well, I want it out as fast as possible. Okay. So you want me to do the job quickly. You're paying for all my years of training that taught me how to do a 1 week job in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. So it's not saying that you can't be compensated properly, and time doesn't have to be a factor, but it is. I mean, you got to find out what's important to you. And that's why we go through the stages of faith, family, fitness, finance, fun. And we look at your money, we look at your time, and we say, are you actually aligned with what you say you want? Or are you just saying you want something, but then nothing that you're doing with your money or your time supports what you say you want?
Right. It got to all make sense. It has to be aligned. That's the only way that you can make change. Like, even beginning with mindset, you can start with mindset. A lot of people don't know that they just have a really mindset about money. And that has to be the first thing that is addressed. And once that is addressed and aligned with everything else that you want to accomplish, your relationships, all of that starts with the mindset.
Yep. And everything else figures itself out pretty easily. Like, the problem is most people are in the dark. They're in the dark in their relationships because they don't communicate. They're in the dark in their faith because they don't actually explore their faith. And too many people, keep in mind, I've mentioned this already multiple times. I'm a believer in God. I believe in Jesus Christ, my Savior. Like, that's me, and I'm not ashamed of that. And in religion, we too often couple faith and Jesus, or faith and some deity, and it doesn't have, like, we lose so much of the power of faith by coupling it to deity. Right? Faith is a standalone word. Right. It has its own definition. And so then when we say faith in whatever the deity is, that's fine. But faith is the action. And we think, well, faith just means faith in this deity. And it's like, no, faith is its own thing. And if we don't understand faith, then we're not going to be able to apply faith in our relationships, faith in our parenting, faith in our legacy, faith in our fitness, faith in our finances. Faith is an action. It's a verb. It's an action word. And the sooner we figure that out, the better we're going to be in all areas of our life. And that's probably one of the things I'm most passionate about. Maybe, I don't know, not beyond legacy, because I feel like it is legacy, but I'm pretty passionate about helping people understand that they're creators and that faith is the process of creation.
Yeah. If it's almost, I talk to a lot of people on this show, and I'm really starting to, it's just a full circle type of thing. But like faith, I have a lot of people to talk about the law of attraction. I have a lot of people to talk about meditation, manifestation, but at the end of the day, it's faith. At the end of the day, it's having faith, and then putting it out there. And let's just say, if we was looking at it from a perspective of magic, it would be just you falling forward and expecting something to catch you. It's as simple as that. So yeah, man, I dig it. I understand where it all starts, where it begins.
Mm-hmm.
Your program, is it based on one-on-one? Is it group? Is it a membership?
Yeah, good question. So I prefer to work one-on-one. I also do group seminars. So I'm happy to help. Like, I will go into companies and just go through the process with the whole company. But at some point, when you're dealing with very detailed information about somebody's financial situation or somebody's how they actually spend their time, not just how they tell you they spend their time, but like we can look on phones. Phones are so great. We can look on phones and they'll tell us exactly how much time they're screwing off on social media. It'll tell us how much time they're spending doing something productive versus not productive. So we don't have to, we can't hide, we can hide from it, but it's there. This data is there. You don't have to track your money anymore. You can put all of your accounts on an app and it tracks it to the penny. You don't have to do that manually. It does it for you. The world we're in right now, you have to be willfully ignorant to ignore the details of your life. Mm-hmm. That being said, if we're talking on broad scales and we're talking in a big group, I was just speaking at an event last weekend, and I asked, what's the most honest room in your house? What would you say? I'm curious. What do you think the most honest room in your house is?
The most honest is probably the kitchen.
The kitchen. Okay. Why the kitchen? I'm curious.
I would say the kitchen just because that's where you're mostly conscious free and you're kind of just doing things without even thinking.
Okay. So, I like it. That was not the answer I'm going for, and it's not the answer I would have come up, but I like the way you're thinking. And I'm going to think about that even more now. I think it's a bathroom. Okay. The reason I think it's a bathroom is because when you are fully naked in front of the mirror, you can't lie about what you see in the mirror. The mirror has no emotions about it. They're not there. The mirror's not there to tell you look good. It's not there to tell you look bad. It's not there to do anything. The mirror is a mirror of yourself.
Right.
Your financial spending is a mirror of your life. Your time is a mirror of what's important to you. Now, you might look at the mirror and be like, I don't like what I see. That's fine. You can change. This is why being a creator and having faith is so important, because you have to realize two things. Who you are and where you are was created by you.
Yeah.
Now, that's the most damning, most icky, horrible feeling ever, especially if you don't like your situation. You're like, I didn't create this. And you have all these justifications of why crap happened to you in your life. And this happened and that happened. And it was somebody else's fault. Look, as long as you believe that, it's going to be hard to change. As long as you believe life happened to you, it's going to be hard to change. Yeah. But as soon as you decide I am the creator of my existence and where I am is exactly where I created myself to be, or didn't create and I became created by somebody else, But the moment you take control of your creative processes, the moment you take control and step into faith, then you can say, I can manipulate or change what I see in the mirror to be what I want to see in the mirror. And that is the most exciting thing. So both the most depressing thing and the most exciting thing are the same exact thought. I am the creator of my existence. And so the mirror in the bathroom, I believe, is the most honest room in the bathroom. Well, that's why in the beginning I said my role is as a mirror, because I'm here to help you see what you actually look like naked. Now, you probably don't want to show the whole world and all your friends and everything what you look like naked. Okay. Even if you're look great, there's still some areas of life that we generally have that is like, hey, no, it's just for me and myself, maybe my spouse, but like that's for me and myself. Okay. Well, finances and time are a lot like that. Finances and time are a lot like that, where even if you're not embarrassed to share them with other people, sometimes it's safer and more prudent to not share with the world your finances. One time I posted on my social media, these are my crazy good financial goals, and I was blowing it up everywhere. And then my Facebook got hacked. And I was like, dude, just because I have a goal of making X amount of dollars doesn't mean I have that in the bank right now. Stop
Right.
trying to hack everything, you know? So I'm like, you know what? There's some prudence. There's some just practical, hey, maybe don't go tell everybody and post pictures of your $1 million in your bank account. It's probably not the smartest thing. Okay. Not because you should be embarrassed about it, not because it should be private. Tell people around you it's fine, but like maybe don't go post that on social media for your own sake of safety and, you know, protection. So I think that there's like levels of that that you got to be a little bit aware. But
Yeah. Yeah. I'm definitely one of those people. The name of my show, it frightens me sometimes just because you never know what the next person is thinking.
yep, unfortunately, it's true.
Yeah.
So it's the world we live in.
It's the world we live in, man. And that's one thing that we have to have faith in as well. We if you're a steward and you're teaching and you just kind of it comes to you. So all you can do is do what you are meant to do. So that's kind of what I stand on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as what you were saying, man, 1000% I agree. The two most important words that I know that exist as far as man, faith and just self-confidence, and like you were saying, your example was looking at yourself in the mirror. The two most important words that will exist for us on both sides of the coin is the two words I am.
Yep.
It's simple as that. Whatever it is on the other end of that sentence is what it is. You can sit in the mirror and you can say, I am healthy, I am well off, I am rich, I am whatever it is. At the end of those two words is where you can take your mind to.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I totally get it. I'm gonna send you a copy of this recording, and as you was explaining that, I want you to recognize how many times you said, while you was making that statement, I am,
Mm-hmm.
because that's all it is. Whatever you are, whatever you see yourself as, that is who you can be on either side of the coin.
Yep.
On either side of the coin. Sam Knickerbocker, where can anyone who's listening to this show, anyone that's looking for you, anyone that needs your services, where can they find or follow you at?
Yeah. So the two best places are, well, I guess three: samknickerbocker.com. And Knickerbocker is like New York Knicks. So it's Sam, KNICKERBOCKER.com. So samknickerbocker.com. And then also on Instagram and Facebook, I'm very active on both, at sam.knickerbocker on both of those. And just, I love it. I love interacting with people. There's a link on my website where you can go and you can schedule a 20-minute discovery call with me. And I'll reach out to you. I'll give you a call. And I haven't ever been so overwhelmed that I have to take it down. I've definitely had a lot of traction on it. And so I know a lot of people are benefiting from it. And that's what I want. I want to help people first. I've got some of my friends who are like, Sam, you got to charge for this stuff. I'm like, you know what? I've done it. I've charged. I don't feel right about it. My goal is to help and to serve. And so if you're sitting there thinking, man, I would love to talk with Sam, but I just don't know if it's the right time for me, it's probably the right time for you. It's probably the right time for you to chat with somebody, because you could exist forever in the not knowing if it's the right time. And it's going to take somebody else to help you see your life from a different perspective, to see that it is the right time for you. If you keep in your own mind, you're always going to believe it's not the right time. But if you finally say, you know what, it's not the right time, I'm not prepared, but I'm going to call him anyways. I'm going to set the appointment anyways. I'm going to let him call me anyways. And if nothing comes of it, nothing comes of it. But what if something did? What if something did come of it? What if you had somebody who believed in you? What if they could completely change your life, and overnight you go from not doing anything to making $1,000 a month more? And you're like, $1,000 a month, that's not that much. $1,000 a month times 12, that's 12 grand. Compound interest over 10, 20 years. You're close to $1 million just because you are willing to improve yourself a little bit. Now, what if that 1,000 turned into 10,000? What if that 10,000 turned into 100,000? Right? That's where it gets exciting, is exponential growth in life is the name of the game. And doesn't matter what area of life, exponential growth is it.
That's it. Exponential growth, compounding. And I'm going to add to what you're saying, Sam, and break it down just a little bit more. I'm going to take the denominator down just a little bit more. If you're listening to this, if you're viewing this podcast, if you're watching this podcast, here's the thing. There's no such thing as coincidences. If, I started up my podcast, someone booked Sam on my podcast, you just so happen to be listening to this particular podcast, there may be a small chance that, you're ready to take your life in a different direction. Pick the phone up, schedule a call with Sam, and let's see where that takes you. You're not listening to it for no reason. I can guarantee you that. Mm-hmm. Sam, I want to thank you for coming on the show today, Millionaire by Morning. Like I say, you was the perfect guest. This was awesome. It all starts with mindset. The way that I see it, you can wake up the next morning and be a millionaire by morning. That don't necessarily mean money. That may mean that you just feel like a millionaire. That may mean that your mindset will have you chasing millions or just feeling good. So we're all under the same umbrella and in the same game. And I want to thank you, Sam, for pointing all of that out.
Yeah, absolutely, man. This is awesome. I really appreciate this. And it's been a great show. I'm excited to go back and re-listen to this and keep listening to your previous guests as well and the future guests.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. I feel like I'm going to circle back with you because I have a lot of guests that I can kind of push your way,
Sure.
and have them to say, hey, I got a guy. I have a guy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for being a part of the show, man. And you have a great evening.
Likewise.
All right, now.